can all settle down. Please take asana. Bring your mind to the here and now. Bring your awareness to your breath. You may take a few deep breaths and then observe your normal breathing. As you observe your breath, feel the lightness. Feel yourself going inwards. Deeper and deeper. Who is it that is breathing? Bring your awareness to the center of your heart. Follow the I, the aham at the center of your heart. We will chant Om followed by Sahanavavatu. Om.
Bag lakad.
Sahana bhavatu, Sahanau bhunaktu, Sahaviryam karavavahai, Tejasvinavadhitamastu ma vidvishavahai. Om Shanti, Shanti, Shanti. Harihi Om. Shri Gurubhyo Namaha. Harihi Om. Sadashivasamarambham Shankaracharya-madhyamam Asmadacharya-paryantam Vande Guru Paramparam. Shruti-smriti-purananam Alayam Karunalayam Namami Bhagavat-padam Shankaram Lokashankaram. Shankaram Shankaracharyam Keshavam Badarayanam Sutrabhashya Kritau Vande Bhagavantau Punah Punah. Samasta Jana Kalyane Niratam Karunamayam Namami Chinmayam Devam Sadgurum Brahma Vidwaram. Sadgurum Brahma Vidwaram. So Hari Om. So we are still in verse 1. We are going through the verse 1. I'll chant the verse 1 of Atma Bodha. Tapobhi kshina papanam shantanam vitaraginam mumukshunam apekshyoyam Atma Bodho vidhiyate. So it basically says these are the austerities that one must follow. Tapobhihi kshina papanam, for those who to purify themselves, or for for the purified ones, the ones who have gone through the austerities to purify themselves, to be peaceful, to be free from cravings, to be, to have that longing for liberation, and to be able to, the ones who really are longing to gain the knowledge of the self. That is a longing to know, who am I? What is my purpose? Why am I here? What is this purpose of this life? You know, all those questions. It doesn't come to somebody. If that question has come to you, you're a blessed one, somewhere on the path. So we're still we looked at the sadhana chatushtaya and shamadama adi, shat sampati, all the different and very nicely Gurudev Chinmayanandaji at the end is telling. This does not just see the last two paragraphs. I will read them. An individual who has thus weakened his wrong tendencies through tapas. His wrong tendencies through tapas. Yes, weakened. May not be completely eliminated, but weakened. Somewhere I have better control over it. It is not as frequent as it used to be. I am not as out of control as I used to be. Somewhere, slowly, I'm gaining some control. That his wrong tendencies through have weakened his wrong tendencies through tapas, who has consequently found in himself a relatively greater mental quietude. It's not like, okay, at least when I decide to quieten my mind, I'm able to. If I say now I don't want to be thinking, I can be quiet. In whom the desire agitations are temporarily at rest. So the desires don't go away completely, but can be rested. When it comes up, I can look at it and I can say, sorry, right now I'm not giving in to you. I am not giving into this desire for now. And who is a sincere seeker wanting to liberate himself from personality shackles. You know, personality shackles. We're all an individual personality and we all have our very, very, very unique shackles. They hold us back. They don't allow us to flow. Known and experienced within, he is the one who is fit for the study of Atma Bodha. Now, the moment you read this line, everybody is like, I am not even fit. Why am I here? So, if we read the last paragraph here, immediately Gurudev is very compassionate. He says, this does not disqualify anyone from reading and studying the text, but only suggests various inner adjustments by which a student can make himself better tuned up to the contents of this book and come to understand better the theme discussed in it. If to some extent all of this, the very fact that some of you are repeatedly coming, somewhere something is getting in. I am understanding. I am able to connect. Okay. Can you hear me, Anu? Is there a problem? You can hear me, right?
Yeah, sorry, can you repeat that, ma'am, please? What was the last thing you said? Some of you are coming?
No, some of you are coming again and again means something is working for you. That is why you're coming back here.
Oh, okay.
Something is working. It's something you're connecting with it. Right? So there is a certain readiness within, because of which you're all here. Isn't it? We have been having so many classes. We have been looking at the Adhikari. It's just a certainty. One of the things we will understand is as we go, I can keep trying to master the mind, and the mind. You initially you feel like, oh wow, I'm able to take control. But after a point, you're thinking it's not completely eliminated. It's not completely eliminated. So that never happens. Only thing is I go beyond it. It is because of those desires, those vasanas, little bit that I even have this life and my life is going on. I have my prarabdha karma and I'm even living my life here. Okay, those are probably needed, but am I under its control or am I able to take control to some extent when I want to? That is the beginning point for our Atma Bodha. Okay, so we were at, I think we will move to verse 2 now. So I would like somebody, anybody who can chant this, or would you like me to chant?
You should chant first.
Okay, you can repeat after me, Aparna?
Yeah.
Okay. Bodho anya sadhanebhyo.
Bodho anya sadhanebhyo.
Bodho anya sadhanebhyo hi.
Bodho anya sadhanebhyo hi.
Sakshan mokshaika sadhanam.
Sakshan mokshaika sadhanam.
Pakasya vahni vajnanam.
Pakasya vahni vatjnanam.
Vina moksho na siddhyati.
Vina moksho na siddhyati.
Right. One more person who would like to chant after me? Yes, Divya. Bodho anya sadhanebhyo.
Bodho anya sadhanebhyo hi.
Sakshan mokshaika sadhanam.
Sakshan mokshaika sadhanam.
Pakasya vahni vajnanam.
Pakasya vahni vajnanam.
Vina moksho na siddhyati.
Vina moksho na siddhyati.
Yes, very nice. So, I would like somebody to go over that word to word meaning. Read it aloud. Word to word, bodha, knowledge, like that. Yes, Ramachandra.
Okay. Bodha, knowledge. Anya sadhanebhyah, in comparison with other means. He, indeed, sakshat, direct. Mokshaika sadhanam, the only means for liberation. Pakasya, for cooking. Vanhivat, I think that he, Vanhivat, there's a little difference in, somebody will say it as Bakhni, and some Sanskrit readers will pronounce as Vanhi. Okay, it doesn't matter, it's a minor difference in the South India and North Indian state. Okay, I'm just reading it as Vanhivat, just as the fire. Jnanam, knowledge. Vina, without. Moksha, liberation. Na, not. Siddhyati, is accomplished.
Anybody wants to guess the meaning based on this? Whatever you feel. What is it trying to tell?
I think it's trying to tell us that just as fire is very important for cooking, and by fire itself doesn't mean that the cooking will be done. You need to have everything, but fire is an important part of the cooking process. Similarly, knowledge is very, very important in comparison with other means to attain liberation. Knowledge of oneself or knowledge about the entire Paramatman or the whole thing is very important for attaining it. So this is the gist of the sloka.
Very nice. See, you cannot remove darkness by trying to remove the darkness. You cannot sweep a darkness away. You have to switch on light, then the darkness will be removed automatically. Similarly, our ignorance can be removed only through knowledge. Ignorance cannot be removed by saying, oh, why am I feeling ignorant? Why am I thinking like this? We do that, no? We analyze, no? Why am I feeling fearful? I have to understand why I am feeling like this. Why is this happening to me? Is it happening because something happened when I was a little child from my last karma, last janma, all this, no? So what am I doing? I'm trying to address the ignorance and trying to, see that by understanding the ignorance, it will be removed. That ignorance will be removed, but the ignorance can never be removed by trying to understand the ignorance. The darkness can never be removed by trying to understand the darkness. The darkness can be removed by light. The ignorance can only be removed by light, by knowledge, knowledge of the Supreme Self within. Knowledge of the Supreme Self within, that is the only way. That is why it is called the direct path. Know yourself, all your ignorance is removed. It's called the direct path. You can do yoga, in yogasana, they talk about the kundalini and the blooming of the sahasrara and all the everything getting, blossoming, and finally you understand the self. Everything, bhakti, you train yourself to be, have that bhakti to a form, and, love that form and know that the form is the remover of all your difficulties, and then go beyond the form to the formless. But here, Vedanta, this method is called the direct method. Know the self, the pure self. Asatoma sadgamaya. Asat can only be dispelled through Sat, truth. Asat is untruth, can only be dispelled by truth. Tamasoma Jyotirgamaya. Ignorance can be removed by light, or darkness can be removed through light. Mrityorma Amritam Gamaya. Death, the death can be removed. Mortality can only be removed by Mrityorma Amritam, by knowing the nectar of the self, the Paramatman, the Supreme Self. Parama Atman, the Supreme Self, not the small self, not the ego self, the higher self within.
Can you
Higher
just
self is
mute?
like the sun.
Someone is
shining.
talking. I think there's some sound in between.
Yeah.
Can you just mute?
Can everybody mute yourselves, please?
Yeah, okay.
Yeah. If anybody wants to read now?
Okay. Shall I read, madam?
Yes, please.
Okay. This is the second sloka, this in italics. Just as the fire is the direct cause for cooking, knowledge is the direct means of liberation. Compared to all other forms of discipline, knowledge is the self, is the only direct means. Knowledge of the self is the only direct means of liberation. In the previous verse, having stated so much about the need for the practice of austerity, self-control and so on, one may misunderstand that discipline alone may lead one to the divine goal. To remove that misunderstanding, it is stated that knowledge alone is the only direct means for liberation. The example given here and in almost every one of the subsequent verses is to illustrate the case in point as clearly as possible to the new entrant in the field of Vedanta. In cooking food, items such as vegetables, rice, spices and so on are contributory causes, but by themselves they can never constitute food. Fire alone can accomplish the cooking. Fire is the direct means. Similarly, the performance of rituals, offering of gifts, practice of austerities, control of the mind, the study of scriptures, the power of discrimination are all no doubt helpful factors which aid one's spiritual growth, but they do not by themselves directly lead one to liberation. Liberation is possible only when the knowledge of the self is gained and the glory of our true self is rediscovered. This point is elaborated in the next verse.
So who is this self? We have all been coming for this class, listening to the self. I want one of you to guide us to that self today. Who is this self? Please guide us to that self. We have
Atma.
experienced sometimes. Yes, Divya, go ahead.
Atma, ma'am. Atma is a self.
Atma is very intellectual. I want it experiential.
I'm not
Who
explaining.
is this self?
Like after attending many of your classes and the meditation, guided meditation, the I self is the one who is observing, who is witnessing everything, all activities, thought, word, deed, that is observed by the self consciousness, which witnesses all my activities done through this body, mind, and intellect. That is Atman.
A witness is never caught in that emotion, is a standalone observer. Anu?
Yeah.
Who is the self?
Ma'am, like when I look at, when we think of people in the world, there are loads of differences in terms of, say, for example, religion, nationalities, and all that. So, isn't Atman something which is present in everybody? And when we say, Sarve Bhavantu Sukhinaha, so that is the essence in everybody. But the way the mind functions, the perceptions we have, all those things are different. But it is the consciousness, the inner voice. I think that is what it means by.
Yeah. We should not confuse consciousness and conscience. We should not confuse consciousness and conscience. They are different. The inner voice, I am assuming something to do with conscience.
Conscience, yeah. Okay, yeah.
Yeah. But consciousness is different from conscience.
Yeah. I mean, like how you have told previously that, everybody is a soul, So, that soul is the self, isn't it? Yeah. Still,
And
it is
that supreme
confusing.
soul is like that.
Still, it gets confusing, to define exactly like how we define.
When you have to tell now. Yeah.
No,
when you define
this,
it, don't you? Experience
No,
it.
for
Have you
this-
ever experienced it? Yes, Bhargaviji.
for this transaction world, everything is different. When we are speaking spiritually, we are speaking in terms of spirit within us. So it is common in everyone, whether it is Christian, Muslim, Hindu, tribal, African tribe, or American tribe, whoever it is, XYZ. The breath, the witness consciousness, except that everything may be different. They
Yes.
follow the skin, the appearance, everything is different. And I took the help of this. My neighbor was troubling me for little things like throwing garbage. I do not want
There is a problem
don't
with
have
your
any clash with them like that. Let them realize all of us are spirits. So I started treating them at the spirit level. So now I don't get irritated. I just wanted to control myself. So whenever I see them, I repeat myself that I'm not the body, they are not also body, mind, and intellect. I applied to both of us so that my irritation has come down, and they have started observing that they are doing wrong. I am applying this everywhere, not only with my family, wherever we get jittery, with everyone has mind or intellect or spirit, removing the body, the difference, I mean, we can console ourselves very easily. The temperament comes down, irritation comes down.
You
Yes, sir.
asked about experience. I think whenever I have experienced the self, one, I get very emotional because I think at that moment is when I'm truly silent.
Mhm.
So also it's like a longing of the conscious self to be the unconscious.
Mhm.
When like I get really emotional,
Mhm.
but I think my conscious self always wants to experience the silence. And I think the closest experience I've had to the self is going from that sound to silence.
Mhm.
And so the self, I feel, is nothingness. It is experiencing joy, an ultimate joy, without divine joy that you cannot describe. So I think it's about, I think when you experience the self, you also have no desires, you don't want anything, you don't need anything from the world, and you're in a constant state of, or at least for those moments, or at least in that time, you are completely grateful. Like I have not felt any other emotion when I feel the self. It is always like, thank you so much, thank you so much, thank you so much, thank you so much. Like it's just this constant chant of thank you so much. So I think that, like, especially when there's meditation or when, you go into that meditative space, the happiness is honestly the silence. So I think that's how I've experienced silence the most, the quietude.
And when we intensely work now, either with little pressure, when there is a extreme important work, we do it with pressure, time bound work to be completed. At that point of time, we work without experiencing our body and mind. Once we complete the work and come out, it's also when we write our exams, a very important exam, and come out of the hall, the experience we feel after completing the intense work or the passionate work we do, that at that point of time also we can feel that we were not the body, we were not, somehow we have worked, we don't know how we have worked, the work is completed, then only we'll come to the body and experience, oh, how did I work, how it has happened. That is my experience, because I was working in a bank. That 31st of March, each and every figure, though computerized, I have to ensure that. And being a branch manager, it is my responsibility to answer the auditor. Otherwise, it's headache. So I was working like that. So especially 31st of March after 12 o'clock, we used to a sigh of relief. That is the experience. Now I feel that at that point of time, I did not realize that it is Atman. Now I feel, oh, that was the experience. And also when I got my job, when I wrote the exam, it was a competitive bank exam. When I came out of the hall completing that, that was also an experience.
there is a certain joy, and you can't pinpoint why you're feeling so joyful. It's very, and then that bhava, that joy, that bliss, that ananda that you feel, we think it is in the silence, but it is, it's even beyond that silence. Like you see the room, you look around your room. We keep looking at thoughts, but we do not note the space between the objects. We see objects in the room, but we don't see the space between the objects. When I ask you, what are you seeing in the room? We will immediately say bed, this, that, but there is a space between that object. And we fail to notice that space. Similarly, when there are thoughts, we keep noting the thoughts, but the space between the thoughts, in between the thoughts, there is that silence. And in that silence and in the thoughts, who is the observer of that silence? Who is that observer of the thoughts? And nothing, there's just some kind of happiness, some kind of joy, some kind of bliss, unexplainable. Like what Aparna was saying, just gratitude, 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 thank you, thank you. Everything just seems wonderful. It's only when I move out from that space, I feel all the loneliness. This is not there, that is not there. But when I am there, it's complete. I feel so complete, so wholesome, so blissful. And knowing that self is that direct path. Everything else will fail, no? The moment you touch that bliss, you'll be like, what is this? There's no sorrow. There is only happiness. There is no sorrow. And that is such a beautiful experience where I experience it myself. So today, let us make it an experiential class. Okay? We will chant Om 11 times. And as you chant the Om, remember, always be in touch with, be the witness of the Omkara. Who is that is witnessing the Omkara? When I chant Om, I am witnessing the Om. And then when the Om stops, I am also witnessing that silence. Be in touch with that self who is the witness of the Omkara and the witness of the self. Silence. Yes, Anu, you have a question?
Ma'am, this experiencing it when everything is calm is different from sometimes I see that when I'm actually in a crisis, wherein I'm exhausted from morning till, in the night, I just want, I'm actually talking about admission of my kid in the hospital. So the day I go for the admission, it is like, it's a huge emergency, it's a crisis. And it's not like, simple accident and admitting the child. So what happens is, by the end of the day, I'm just so fed up. I'm like, I can't take a thing. And the whole of that admission period is not easy at all. Is not easy at all. So in this time span, especially the first day, when for that, how do I find this? How do I connect with my consciousness?
When the mind is racing a lot, first of all, I have to leash the mind. First of all, I will have to leash the mind to some extent. It may not be completely under, but I have to leash the mind. And the way to leash the mind initially, when your mind is very agitated, there are some ways. Meditation may not help. Just quiet meditation may not help because the mind is going to only keep racing more. It's not. So we can do some kind of likhita japa. Anything. You write Omkara, Om, 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 or Sri Ramajayam, Om Namah Shivaya. Okay? You write. You write that rigorously, completely, to some extent, 108 times, two times 108 times, 3 times. Okay? Because when the mind is racing a lot, just doing it in the mind also may not be very helpful sometimes. Having an action to go with it helps. So bring the mind under control to some extent first. And then once the racing has stopped, turn around and ask yourself, who is this who is writing this? Who is the witness of this writing? Who is the witness of this Omkara, the japa that I'm doing? Turn around, bring your mind. This is what Ramana Maharishi always says. And that self is in the heart center here. Just bring your mind. You say I, that I. Where is that I? That I arises at the heart center. Bring your attention to the heart center. In whom are all these emotions arising? In whom is this japa arising? And pay attention to that center of the heart. Keep looking for that I. That I, you keep looking for that I, there will be no I. There's no individuality. There is just that consciousness, that supreme Atma, that Paramatma. The I will dissolve there in the center of the heart. And when the I dissolves, that whole, all the agitation will settle. It is magical if you can practice this. Such a direct method, it's magical. Can just at that point in time, slowly, first directly, if you do that, it may not still work. So first leash your mind a little with something. You can do zentangles, you can do, like I said, the Likhita Japa, or you can walk the chant. I also said I will show you how to chant, which also I will tell you how, with your hands. Okay, this is the chant. So the way to do your chant is, we will do it like a shanku. We start from the ring finger, second last line. 1, 2, and then move to the pinky finger. 3, 4, 5. And then the next finger, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Should I do it again? Start from the ring finger, last line, second last line, then come to the last one, and then pinky finger lowermost, then go up, then go up. Don't go to the tip of the finger, only the line. And then move to the next finger top line, next finger top line, next finger top line, and then come down and down. You got 10 numbers that way. It's like a Shanku. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. It comes. So this hand 10, when you have completed one round of chanting on this hand, you put on the left hand, you put it here. The same way. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. So 10 into 10 is 100. So with every circle you make here, you move here. One line. So that way 10 into 10, 100, and then the final 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Is this too confusing? I'll send you a diagram on the group. Okay. So you just walk the chant, you chant. So your mind is doing multiple things. It's all about the chanting. You're chanting. You're also keeping count. So you're giving more things for the mind to do. So it will get less distracted. Take control and then be with the self. Who is it that is chanting? Nirvana Shatakam says that only. Mano buddhya hankara chittani naham. I am not the mind, I am not the body. I am not the chant, I am not the Vedas, I am not the scriptures, I am none of this, I am beyond all of this. When I am studying the scriptures, who is the one that is observing, witnessing whatever is happening in the scriptures? That is the me. Beyond the scriptures. Beyond the chant. Who is it that is chanting? I. Who is that I? Bring it to the center of the heart. That I will dissolve. Only the supreme reality will be there. So we will observe this now. Let us chant Om 11 times. And as we are chanting Om, this is a part of the Mandukya Upanishad. Om is made of A, U and A, U, A is the waking state. U is the dream state. Is the deep sleep state. When I am in the A, all my senses organs are engaged. In the U state, only my mind is engaged when I am dreaming. In the state, both the eyes, that is in the deep sleep state, neither the organs are engaged nor my mind is engaged. Both have retreated into a deep sleep state, into me. When the in the A state, in the U state, in the state, all of these states exist in that self. The self exists through all of that. Even though in the deep sleep state, I have no feeling of I-ness. But when I wake up, I say, I had a deep sleep. So there is some continuum, of consciousness. So as I chant Om, everybody just chants Om, 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 Om continuously. The silence between the Om is also very, very important to remind us who is observing that silence, who is the witness of this silence, who is the witness of the Om. Pay attention more to the witness of the Omkara and the witness of the silence rather than the Omkara and the silence itself. We will chant Om 11 times. In the silence, turn towards who is witnessing that silence. Who is the witness of the silence? Observe the silence and observe the observer of the silence. That observer is the self. the Supreme Self within. Try to identify that self in the heart center. And all you will know is your existence. Om. Remember to observe the observer. Om. 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 Feel the bliss of the self. Feel the joy, the compassion, the gratitude, the completeness in that self. Purnam. That is complete. The self is complete. There is nothing lacking in that Purnatva. Om. The Omkara emerges from that Purnatvam and again dissolves into the Purnatvam, into that self that is complete. Om. This self is within me and around me. If you try to find its limits, you cannot find its limits. Bring your awareness to the heart center. It is dimensionless. It's immeasurable. It's limitless. It's complete. Knows no sorrow. Om. There is a rhythm of the self that you can experience, a vibration, a rhythm. That is the rhythm of the universe and the rhythm of the individual self. They're one and the same, the universal self and the individual self. Be in touch with that existence, Sat, consciousness, Chit, Ananda, bliss. You may gently open your eyes whenever you're ready. How does it feel to be in touch with that Supreme Self within?
Peaceful?
Isn't it? When we say existence, consciousness, bliss, everything, that self is like the substratum on which everything is projected. When I say, where do I see my hand? I see it here. Where do I see in my mind? On the substratum of that screen of consciousness. Where do I see my leg? Again here. There is no separation. Everything that is here. So in one way, everything is just a point in that consciousness. Our bhakti, Vaikunta, when Draupadi called out during her Vastraharan, when Draupadi called out to Krishna, Krishna, oh Krishna, please save me. She first called out to Dwarkanath. But Dwarkanath was in Dwarka. He would not be able to reach her in time. Then she looked for Krishna in her heart center. And immediately she lifted her hand in surrender. Imagine somebody is pulling at your cloth. Initially, she was trying to hold on to that cloth. But when she called for Krishna, she was in complete abandonment. I am not the doer. I don't do anything. And she just raised her hand. And the moment she sought him in her heart, he was there. Instantaneously. Instantaneously. So if I seek that Vishnu or that Krishna in Vaikuntha as some other planet, he will come to me late. Seek him in the heart. Because he is that heart center. And he is there, and all my devotion, he is there. He's just waiting. He revels in the devotee's devotion for him. We just have to think of him and he'll be there. It's instantaneous. Even Prahalada, they say like that, Narsimha. Prahalada, he was never separate from Vishnu. He was pushed. He knew no fear even for an instant. He was completely established in that self. He knew no fear. He was pushed from the mountain. He was pushed in, kept with snakes. 5-year-old child. But did not know even this much of fear. Because fear is a part of the ego.
Yes.
He was completely established in Vishnu, the self. Yes, Bhargaviji.
Yeah, as in one of the classes, I don't remember whether it is Bhagavata or this Atma Bodha class, you had told about surrender. Just saying that I have surrendered, it doesn't work.
Yeah.
It is the
Yeah.
inner feeling, inner confidence, the faith we have. If I have surrendered, I should not have any agitations, any fears, and any
Surrender
request.
is surrender. When there is
Confidence.
surrender, there's no agitation.
Yeah, I should not have any disturbances. That is surrender.
Yeah.
And initially, I used to do like I have surrendered. I am surrendering to you, oh Lord, and all. Then whenever the disturbance is getting started, I used to think, what is this? I have surrendered again. I am getting disturbed. So it is the smaller I, which
Surrender
actually
is a complete surrender of the ego into the self, where the ego has dissolved into the self. That is surrender. Where I go to the
and I
heart
should be
center.
so confident, so faithful with the Lord that everything happens for good.
Just ego surrender completely. I have let go.
It has taken 3 years to understand that. Surrendering properly, understanding, surrendering,
So
and to
every
practice
life
that.
situation for us is given because the Lord wants us to turn towards him. It's just that we forget. Lord wants us to turn towards him, and he is giving us opportunities for us to grow. For some of us, he is giving a stronger dose of medicine. For some, it may be lighter, depending upon how much we have moved away from him. But everything is a constant reminder for us to be with him. So they say, no, Shankha Chakra Gada Padma, he has. He will first, if you are not, he will give you one little, you are too away, you are with the ego, he'll give you one with the Gada, he will do tuck. He will give one light, whatever is happening, the consequences of the worldly things that happen, no, he'll give a nice smash on the bum with the Gada. And if you turn to him, he will give you the Padma, the joy. But if you don't, he will also send the chakra to you. If you are very insistent to stay where you are, he will also send the chakra to you. That is also his blessing. So that's what they say. So
until we learn the lesson.
Until we learn the
Until
lesson,
we learn the
he
lesson.
will keep giving us. He wants us to be established in him. He wants us to flow to him. He is the ocean. We are the rivers. We are all flowing through that greater consciousness. We are like the waves in that ocean. We are going back into the ocean, but we don't realize that it is all the ocean I am thinking, ayo, I am a wave, that wave, look, that wave is bigger than my wave. Why is my wave this smaller wave with me coming and it's troubling me so much? All of this is my own thing, but the wave is also the ocean only. All the waves are the ocean only. Yes. How is it, Divya? Sunita ji, yes, please.
Yeah, ma'am.
Can we see who you are?
Ma'am,
Can I have a face to the name?
not having enough light, so I'm not on the
Okay.
camera. Yeah. So
Okay, go ahead.
I want to ask you, like, when it is hard time, it is easy to surrender and do nama japa and all. When we are having good time, then I feel we are forgetting God. How to surrender at when we are having good time?
At good time also, you say thank you, God, gratitude. Again, see, every emotion, whether it is happiness or sadness, is a part of the ego only. I am thinking, oh, I am the doer. The next verse is about doership. We will look at it a little more in detail. But whether it is happiness, whether it is, I am, the bliss that we are talking is very different from the happiness. The bliss is when I'm sitting and I am looking at the horizon. There's a certain vastness, there is a certain peace, calm, bliss that I feel, no? But happiness is very different. Oh, this has happened, so I am happy. This has happened, so I am happy. This is happening. And you know, I did all of these things. I am so happy that I was able to do all of these things and it went very well. I'm taking a lot of the doership. But at that time, if I can remember and I can say, it is all Krishnarpanamastu.
Yes, ma'am. When I said
Even
good
this that has
time,
happened, it is.
yes, ma'am. When I
You
said
said
good times,
something,
it is
Sunita.
not. Yeah, when I said good times, it is not bliss state. It is like something I have wished. My mind has wished something, and
And
something
it
has
has happened.
happened.
Uh,
Yeah,
uh.
that time.
And at that time, I think I have done it, no?
Yeah.
Do we? Somehow.
No.
Yeah.
I
We
wished
should
and it
remember
happened.
Kriti Stuti then.
I did this. That's why it happened. They said something about me. So I'm feeling very happy that they said, yeah, see, this I did. That's why it happened. It could be that. I wished and it happened. At that time, I just go back and say, his wish, it happened. See, the problem is when I say I am the doer, I am the doer, that is why it happened. It happened because when sadness comes, when happiness comes, both, if I can be equanimous.
Yeah, ma'am. The surrendership should be like continuous.
Continuous. I know that it is part of the ego because the moment I start feeling happiness is okay, I will take, the sorrow will also hit me. I will have to, there are two sides of the same coin. I cannot say, okay, for sorrow I will surrender, but happiness I will take, I like it. Yes, Aparna.
No, I just wanted to say how, we've been talking about, the self and the real self. And this session is so, I don't know, very different for me because I think it's like, I don't know how I've gone through this session. I feel like I didn't go through this session. Like something has made me go through this session today. So I think it's, what do you say? It's really nice that when the divine wants to express itself, if you're quiet enough or if you want to hear it, I think it's very easy to do that if you're listening. So I think surrender or even wanting to forget something bad that's happening. I think the art of letting go and having something else run life is a lot easier.
Yeah. If you actually look at it, it's a lot easier than having to control everything yourself and saying, what should I do? How should I figure it out? What do I do?
Yeah. Just,
Right?
just living it, or just like, I don't know how 1 hour has passed, or not more than 1 hour has passed. Like, I didn't even feel it. Like, most of today has just been, most of this last 1.5 hours has been me just being, and thank you so much for these sessions. It's really nice.
This fish story you had told, remember, Artiji, in the 10th man story session, the fish which gets caught up with the what is that, stones, and which flows with the water. That story is very applicable for her, to go with the flow, as she said.
For all of us, we're all
Yeah.
holding on. See, okay, just to
And I
tell
am
that story.
smiling. No, these days I am smiling. I was crying. I am smiling. That is the result of this, all the classes.
We
With
have
any
to say thank you
situation,
to
yeah, with any situation, we can be happy. Not that problem is
Yes.
resolved. Not that problem is resolved. Even with that, we can be blissful. Harichitta Satya, whatever comes is for my good, and he gives only to my capacity, not beyond that. I can tolerate that.
My thought becomes my world. I just heard recently how, the Kalinga Nardana. In Vrindavan, Krishna jumps into the water, and he then comes out and he dances on the Kalia and goes. If you go there, there is a tree. And when you look at the tree, there is a hole in the tree. You will immediately see two fangs coming out, it seems. Because the tree was constantly looking at that river and thinking about the snake in the river. You become your thought. Your thought creates your own world. This world is it's like, from H2O, water vapor, condense, it becomes ice. Like this world gets solidified by our own thoughts. When I am with the self constantly, it is very, what do you say? It just is. Now there is no good, there is no bad. There is just no pain, no pleasure. Everything just is, and for me to go through that motion. Go through the motion, not without emotion, as a service to the Supreme Reality. This is where what I have been given, it's a blessing. Take it as a blessing and go through it. There is this lady who, when I have heard this story, when that in the Leh Ladakh, there are landslides constant, not Leh Ladakh, Badri. There are landslides constantly. Okay, and then once this I had heard from one Adiji. He is a great guru. He has an ashram in Parani. So he said he was going there, and there was this lady who was breaking the stones. Very old lady, full of wrinkles on her face, and very thin hands, and she was breaking the stone one by one and moving everything. And Adiji, he went and said, Maji, aap ye kaam kyo kar rahe hain? Why are you doing this work? It's such a difficult. And she didn't say, क्योंकि नहीं क्या करे पेट का है, because I need to fill my stomach or anything. She said, ताकि आप लोग जो you people devotees, you have come and you should have a good darshan. Okay? It is that attitude of service which will sail you through whatever is happening in your life. Attitude of service. I have given an opportunity. I have been given an opportunity to serve you in this way. All the life situations that I am in, I've been given all the people in my life, all the situations in my life. These are a way for me to serve that Supreme. When I look at it like that, we should say, when somebody comes and I offer a help, we say, I am so thankful to you that you gave me the opportunity to serve you. There is so much humility there than say, oh, I felt so good because I gave that person something. There is a slight pride that I gave that person something. But here the other way, when you see that person gave me an opportunity to serve him, which is more humble. So like that, every single person in my life, every single happening in my life is an opportunity to serve that Supreme through that person. And I just go through the motion, then there is no pain, there is no pleasure. It just is. Everything just is. Anything else?
Yeah, Arti, today's home chanting. Actually, I had a few physical and mental issues, over the week. So it's like when I was chanting, I was like, my hand is not, and I got a little hurt in my hand. So I was like, I have to do this work. I have to. So I was not allowing myself to feel tired. So it's like when I chanted, I could feel the tiredness and and just for Aparna, all the emotions are surfacing. No? So even tiredness, I don't know whether it's an emotion, but it also came up.
It is some kind of exhaustion.
Yeah, sometimes when you deny something, it doesn't work. You have to experience, let that emotion, experience that emotion and just go through it. It's like.
Yeah, and then turn around and say, who is experiencing that emotion? Never forget
Once
that.
Aarti had sent the message about this. Be with the emotion. You had sent one quote in Swadhyaya. Be with whatever we are experience that. If we are continuing with our thoughts, the same emotion, after some time it goes off. One of my friend who is also spiritual practitioner, she follows Mr. Yam of Madanapalli. She had given one example. Somebody will come to our house. Yeah, Shriyam. They use our washrooms. If something is wrong with their usage, what we do, we just flush it. Like that, any thought, any emotions for that matter, she says just flush it out. So we should find the ways to flush it out, like meditating, chanting, or be with the emotion.
Be with it rather than flow along with it. Become a witness.
And it goes off. I have experienced that. It goes off. Whatever you send, no, I try to apply it. So I'm getting results these days. That's why I could easily share my personal experience. Fleshing out. Always I remember fleshing out.
You still have a question, Anu?
No, ma'am. That was
earlier.
Yeah.
Chalo, we'll close again.
One more thing.
Atma Bodha is all about the Atman. It's about being with the self. That is the only thing, maybe in different ways, like this, but we will all get to that self only here. That's what
it's like what you all taught in the Bhagavatam class. Try to see whatever is happening around you as this of Narayana.
Yes.
Good or bad.
Of Narayana, and it's a service to Narayana. That's it. Yes, Anu.
So like sorry. Forgiving becomes very easy when because of what you have taught, ma'am, because that we are all souls on journey, that we come with our own baggage, and having the introspection to look at all our mistakes, all the mistakes that I have made in the past, and this new thing that I've learned from last 2-3 years, forgiving and letting it go, has made life so much more happier, blissful.
Lighter, no?
Lighter, yes. lighter. Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah, it dissolves the ego.
Yes.
Yeah.
It's just lighter. I don't have to carry this baggage and, remember and, none of that is there.
Yeah.
Beautiful. We will close the session.
And living in the present moment today as if it is the last day of the life. So all these tips makes life very easy and light and quality. Each day we can make it qualitative.
Yes. Ramachandran ji?
Madam, I'm sorry, I had to, some guests had come home, some elderly people had come, so I'm really feeling that I had to miss because I was asked to meet them and all. I think really missed the this thing, today's session. I hope, I think I may get some chance to uh, know about it and then reflect on it. It doesn't matter, I think it's a continuous journey, and then let us see how it is.
And it's on YouTube in case you want to go over it.
How do we?
I've been posting the link. I'll post today's link also.
Okay, really thankful to you, madam. Thankful to you. I think I missed out.
We will post.
Okay.
We'll close the session for today.
Thank you.
We'll meet again next week.
Yes, madam.
Purnamada Purnamidam Purnat Purnamudachyate Purnasya Purnamadhaya Purnameva Vashishyate Om Sarve Bhavantu Sukhinah Sarve Santu Niramayah Sarve Bhadrani Pashyanto Ma Kaschid Dukkha Bad Bhavet Om Shanti 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 Harihi Om Shri Gurubhyo Namaha Harihi Om.
Thank you, ma'am.
Again.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Hari Om, ma'am. Thank you so much.
Thank
Hari Om
you.
to everyone.
Hari Om. Thank you, Aarti, for this wonderful session.
I can
Yeah,
see
Yeah.
the
We are all
slides.
blessed.
It's
Session.
so
Powerful session. Today's session was highly
Yeah.
powerful.
Exactly.
Yes,
strong
it
for
was.
us. It was a very, very powerful.
As if we feel fresh after
Yeah, I
this
feel
section.
so happy.
Yeah.
The grace of so many gurus. We have to say naman to them.
Yeah.
Thank
We
you.
have to meet once, ma'am. All of us have to meet once.
How many of you are in Bangalore?
Oh, everybody's in Bangalore.
Oh, Mamta ji is also in Bangalore.
Yes, ma'am.
Oh, we'll meet then sometime.
Yes, ma'am.
Your
That will
next-
be really
Your next book release. When is the next book release, madam? So that we can come.
Yeah, I'm waiting for illustrations.
Okay. Parvati should do that.
Yes,
Acha,
Parvati. I'm waiting for
Aarti,
her
I don't know what
illustrations.
book you have released.
But we should meet for one Atma Bodha session together and do it in person. We should have one session. We'll plan for that for sure. Okay? We will.
Yes, ma'am.
Ma'am, ma'am, due to my ill health, I can't come because
Oh.
I need a support and somebody else. Very sorry. Anyway.
Where you are in also? You are also in Bangalore, Prema ji?
No, I am in Pune.
You're in Pune, correct. So that
Yeah.
will be good. But many seem to be. We will meet and we will update probably.
Yes, sure, ma'am.
Okay.
Thank you.
Thank you so much.
Bye, bye, bye.
Thank you, ma'am.
Bye.
Aarti, did you tell Bala, about me?